Mario Kart 8 Deluxe may not be everybody's cup of tea. With the booster course pass, though, you gotta give it some popular points. And I'll admit, there are some retro favorites along with new additions, like with DS Waluigi Pinball, GBA Sky Garden, Sky High Sunday, and that interesting but very weird bathroom course that was just added in one of the waves here. But we are undoubtedly talking about wave 1 and 2. And specifically, I want to give my opinion on this. So, it's an interesting choice. And undoubtedly, with wave 1 and 2, it does provide a sense of nostalgia. So, here are my thoughts when it comes to wave 1 and 2 of the Booster Course Pass for Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. Hello, and welcome to another video on the channel, and thank you for checking out my thoughts on the courses of Wave 1 and 2. This will be a review on all 12 courses in Waves 1 and 2. And of course, all 4 cups pertaining to that. You might want to stick around for each of these courses, as these are very interesting and very wacky, to say the least. But with many good things, there are some sour notes. So let's just say we will start off with one. Paris Promenade, from an artistic standpoint, the visuals are very impressive, and that's with all Booster Course Pass tracks. However, from a technical standpoint, Paris Promenade fell short in many places, and the design of the course feels bland and lacks the incorporation of mechanics that would likewise enrich the gameplay and engage players to a new experience. And I believe that this course has delved into that generic territory, and it feels more of a circuit course more than anything. And speaking of a circuit course, so when I first got a glimpse of the Booster Course Pass, when I saw that it first announced, I was very optimistic. And the first course they showed was a tour course, and I was very optimistic because I didn't know how well it was gonna be. Then they showed other courses like N64, Choco Mountain, and one other course that I couldn't remember. Very old courses from the older Mario Karts. And as well, 3DS Toad Circuit. And instantly, when I saw that course in specific, I was very excited. And, as somebody who's played Mario Kart 7 growing up, I instantly had butterflies in my stomach. And while Mario Kart 7 fell a little bit short in aspects, and while not as good as Mario Kart Wii, as I still play those two games every once in a while when I want to, Mario Kart 7 does hold a special place in my heart. And, while, yes, Toad Circuit in that game was very generic and very short and sweet, it was great as a first timer. And it was great as, as a first course in the game. And now they're putting it in the second course of the Booster Course Pass. And now looking at it as I played through the course and I purchased the booster course pass back in December, I now have regrets in even being excited for this course. And unfortunately, I do feel this way, as it falls short of any of its aspects, as it falls short of its design and even mechanics that gave Toad Circuit its excitement and its magic that it instilled in Mario Kart 7. While it's very good for beginners, for people who haven't played a Mario Kart in their life, or for people who just played the Mario Kart 8 version, or for people who are just getting a start in Mario Kart in general, it's good for beginners. But the sense of challenge is not there anymore. And unfortunately, I am sad to say this, that it's just another generic course that found its way into the booster course pass. It has no replayability, and it fell short in so many aspects. Like I said again, it just, the excitement is not there anymore. And I really want to love this course. But at the end of the day, it just feels like another course that, that was slapped together in the booster course pass and called it a day, and no love was given to the course whatsoever. While I don't have as much of a connection to Mario Kart 64 and its tracks, I played one remade Nintendo 64 course, and it's good. It really is very good. And you know, I played the original version on the Nintendo Switch Online plus expansion pack, and with every other course, it's visually appealing. But I compared this to the original version of the game, which is the Mario Kart 64 version. And frankly, I'm just as disappointed as everybody else, as this course fell short in so many aspects. And Nintendo, once again, has made the original track in N64 unmemorable and unengaging. And to be honest, they took away many of the elements that ultimately we didn't see in the remake. And, you know, it's disappointing. Nintendo decides to modernize these courses, and most of the courses so far, they simply touched, and now we just get mediocre things. And it's really disappointing, and I think that Nintendo has no idea what they're doing when it comes to this course. And you know, the original was very good as it was to begin with. There was no touching it at all. There really wasn't. And looking back at this now, it just makes me wonder why this course was even considered. And I can't help but wonder if remaking this was a good decision or not, which ultimately I think it's not. Mario Kart Wii, for me, is one of those games that I remember playing growing up. And Coconut Mall was one of my favorite courses in the game, along with Rainbow Road, and I believe Bowser's Castle. But we're talking about Mario Kart 8 Deluxe revamps here. And what Nintendo did with Coconut Mall from this game was truly a treat to experience. They didn't just bring it back, they captured the essence of the original so perfectly, retaining its signature twists, daring shortcuts, and the sheer joy of just going through that iconic course and making all the moments all so special, just so we can relive this all over again. And to be honest, it does a great job of doing that. And for all those Mario Kart Wii fans out there, including myself, this is truly a course that you don't want to miss. Look, I don't like Wave 1, and it's not really that impressive to be honest. And, Coconut Mall so far has already done that. But there is one more course that I want to take a look at that has a strong creative vision, that exceeds expectations, and that brings that factor of, excitement and, just wackiness that the Coconut Mall brought. And that course goes to Tokyo Blur from Mario Kart Tour. With the perfect balance of just excitement and acceleration, it's been so pleasing to the eye. And, with all courses, it's really just visually appealing. And it's fun, it's got great track design. You couldn't ask for more. It's really just a course that you want to play again and again. And, you know, with that in mind, the developers knew what they were doing this whole entire time when it came to this. And it's just wonderful to see. So, nostalgia remains a powerful tool when it comes to the Booster Course Pass. And there's a lot of courses that are taken from N64, GBA, and a little bit of course of its own. But what I'm talking about is one of the DS courses, and unfortunately, it's Shroom Ridge. And it falls short on so many expectations. And I'm not saying that this is a bad track. It's not. But it's very uninspiring, and it just feels way too similar to Toad's Turnpike from Nintendo 64. Just with a different look, a daytime look, to be frank. And there is one analogy I like to put this through. Think of it as a Honda Civic and compare it to a Toyota Corolla. What are the differences between Toyota Corolla and Honda Civic? Honda Civic is a little smaller, yes, but it feels way too similar to a Toyota Corolla. Just, it's a little smaller and is not really that interesting to look at. It just is the same thing, but just a little smaller. And Shroom Rage is definitely that. And it's very predictable and makes it so similar that it lacks any significant changes, and it just doesn't excite me. It just doesn't feel memorable. And I think that's what it holds back, honestly. From being memorable, from being great, from having that nostalgic factor. It's really sad, honestly. And I like DS courses, I really do. But this is one course that I think is very lackluster and just not a great course to begin with. Mario Kart Super Circuit, I give this game a lot of flack for being too similar to Super Mario Kart. But one course in particular that was brought in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe's Booster Course Pass was GBA Sky Garden. And it's a very unexpected treat and surprise. And it translates so beautifully to this game. And while it ditches the pixelated charm of the GBA version, which is great by the way, it goes for a more vibrant, polished presentation. And I gotta say, it looks great. The simplicity remains as it should, and with each turn and each tight turn and precision, it truly relives the mastery of the original. No bells, no whistles, just pure karting bliss. That's a victory lap for one, and it's got to be one of the highlights of this course, no doubt. So, the Mario Kart 8 Booster Course Pass is all about the retro nostalgia factor. And while it has a lot of that, there are some welcome new additions that Nintendo decided to bring to the table. And stepping away from familiar Mario Kart territory is Ninja Highway. It stands out from the other courses, and it ditches the familiar elements and environment that are usually in other Mario Kart tracks. This takes a different approach, taking inspiration from the popular Kung Fu Panda franchise. And Ninja Highway seamlessly blends aesthetics and gameplay elements, creating a visual, striking, and unique experience. And it's such a welcome addition to the DLC that it makes me go butterflies in my stomach. And literally, Nintendo's willingness to experiment is great to see. It is about time that Nintendo had tried something new, because this gives an indication that Nintendo knows how to get their courses to spark. Most of the courses in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe's Booster Course Pass are city courses. One of the most memorable ones, though, is New York Minute from Mario Kart Tour. And what a way to kick off Wave 2. This course takes you on a thrilling and immersive ride through New York Minute, and it's one wild adventure throughout the city. Many crazy things happen. The busy nightly rush of honking taxis, iconic landmarks, and big lights throughout the city just make it a bit more like Wii Moonview Highway, and it's got its own sprinkle to it as well. Whether this is your first time in a Mario Kart game, or whether you're just making your return to Mario Kart in general, New York Minutes got you covered. And honestly, it's a must-try for any Mario Kart fan. While I do have a strong opinion for circuit courses, and I always haven't been the most excited to play them, which is reasonable because a circuit track for me always comes out as basic. You know, it's the start of the game, and I get it. It is. And what Nintendo has done with Mario Circuit 3 could not have been a better time. And, you know, they improved the course quite a bit. It looks amazing, actually. Most of the layouts stayed generally the same. And it honestly is to be expected, because there's not really much that you can do with a course like this. And one thing that I noticed from this particular course alone is that it generally had more elements than it did previously, which is very neat to see. And while not the greatest course to have, it is obviously way better than the courses that they brought in Wave 1, which don't even get me started on those courses, except for Coconut Mall, since Coconut Mall is one nostalgic course that everybody seems to love. And while I don't love Wave 1, Mario Circuit 3 deserves to stay. Remember those days where you would pop in your 3DS or 2DS and play Mario Kart 7? You get done playing all the previous cups that you just finished, and then the memories come running back. Calamari Desert comes in with a strong impact, and it comes back revitalized, boasting a contemporary aesthetic while still keeping it faithful to the original track. What more could you ask for? This is a remake that is done properly. For those that want to relive a track in a modern style, and for those looking for a new track to play in a modern game. Honestly, it's simply a treat that nobody should miss. Waluigi Pinball is one unique track that I believe stands out from the rest. And when I played this track in Mario Kart 7, I was memorized I was mesmerized about the entire track as a whole. And it's based on a pinball. What more could you want? And I would say this is more of the unique tracks that came into the Mario Kart series, as Mario Kart in some respects doesn't really have much of a variety. Because you got your typical Iceland, you got your typical grass, you got your typical, snow, and you got your typical volcanoes. But when it comes to Waluigi Pinball and Ninja Highway and all those other, you know, courses that I just described in the Mario Kart 8 Booster Course Pass, like the unique tracks in general, it starts to set a precedent because, Nintendo, I think, went so well with this track, and it was a good decision to remake it. As, you know, I love it so much. I have quite a bit of memories with this track. Not a lot, but still memories that I keep wholeheartedly in my heart. And just the fact that this course is remade makes it all the worthwhile. And, for a lot of people, it's amazing. And lots of people love this track because, people adore it. And I think it's one of those tracks that deserved a spot in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. And they did it. They really did it. It's one of those things that can never be changed. And honestly, I'm happy with it. I'm really happy with it. So, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe selection so far in Wave 2 has been a true delight. And honestly, it's very decent, with many faithful recreations of classics alongside fresh and exciting newcomers. And to be honest with you, I think that Sydney Sprint from Mario Kart Tour is at least among the unique category when it comes to recreated courses in games. And it's really the most interesting because it's got recognizable landmarks like Fish Market, the iconic Sydney Opera. It's an absolute blast. And honestly, it's got that vibe of Australia. It's really got that Australian vibe. It's really something that I would play every now and again. And all those Mario Kart elements of going really fast and those shortcuts and ramps that make for some great epic air action. You won't want to miss this course. It's an absolute blast. And to be frank with you, I just think this course deserves a spot on the list because GBA Snowland. Now, as most of you know, I really don't like these Super Circuit tracks. And to be frank with you, I really don't like the game in general, but I think this remake of the original version is pretty great. And this is something that you really don't see every day. A frosty facelift. And Snowland takes a chance at having changes in 3D take place. And honestly, it's pretty good. From what from what it was in Super Circuit, it is a major improvement. And gone are the pixelated pines and flat plains, replaced by towering snowpack peaks. And while it retains many parts in the original, it's added some really cool additions. And with all that being said, you know, it's it's a great analogy on it's a best dish served cold. So here we go with another Mario Kart Wii favorite. Mushroom Gorge is now on the list. So, this course has been brought back in a modern way. Does anybody remember those mushrooms that we used to bounce on all the time? And of course, the scenery, everything else in between? This course has got it all, and has been brought back in a modern way, with a little bit of added elements, of course. So there's a brand new shortcut that just opened up, which bypasses the tunnel entirely, taking you on a detour through hidden waterfalls and rainbow striped platforms. As well, there is a spinning boo that is there to block your way. It's not only there to admire the scenery. What Nintendo did with this course was so faithful and very manageable. I think that this course serves as a testament to the enduring appeal of the track, and it serves as a reminder that sometimes the classics are best served with the sprinkle of modern magic. Time for a sugar filled ride because Sky High Sunday takes center stage. Who would have imagined all those years playing Mario Kart and there is a track sculpted entirely from ice cream and candy? Honestly, when these developers were thinking of the idea of Sky High Sunday, I think they were thinking more of their childhoods when they thought of this. And while I think this course is a little weird for the last course of Wave 2, I can go along with it because everything is so realistic here, I'll be honest. Giant waffle cones, a candy cane road, gummy bear trees, and simply everything that you can think of when it comes to candy. And honestly, I'm there for it. It's an edible adventure that's guaranteed to leave you grinning, and maybe a little sticky from ear to ear. This track is simply Chef's Kiss.